Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Tulsi Maharani Jaya Vrinda Devi Tulsi Maharani Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Tulsi Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Have it at an angle. Today's the disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila, thanks, and Sri Gauridas Pandit. So we'll sing the song for the departed Vaishnavas, Saparshada Gaura Viraha Vilapa, on page 78 of the songbook. Yeyanilo Premadana Karuna Prachor Hey no Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kahasanatan. Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan. Kahamora Pata Yuga Kaha Kavirat. Eka Kale Kota Gela Gauda Nataraj. Pashane Kutiba Mata Anale Pashiba. Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pavo. Se Saba Sangira Sanje Ye Koi Lo Vilas. Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamadas. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajgacharya Asasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajgacharya Asasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Yamuna Devi Ki, Ganga Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulsi Devi Ki, Vrindavan Dham Ki, Mayapur Dham Ki, Sankirtan Yogya Ki, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Gaur Premanandi. All glories, the assembled devotees. All glories, the assembled devotees. All glories, the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna. Today we'll talk a little bit about the life of Rupa Goswami and Shri Gauridas Pandit. Now, we are called Rupa Nugas. First of all, Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Das Vedantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadvutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. For my respectful obeisances unto him and our previous acharyas. Okay, so Rupa Goswami in the Gonadesh Deepika, as we know, he was known in Vrindavan as Rupa Manjari. So now he is Rupa Goswami, and in Vrindavan, Lalita Devi, she's the chief among the Sakis of Srimati Radharani and Radharani's entourage. And Rupa Manjari is the foremost among those Sakis who follow Lalita. So Rupa Goswami is extremely influential in all our Gaudiya line. We have learned so much that we would not know if it wasn't for Rupa Goswami. So when his father's name is Kormadev, and he had several sons, and amongst those sons, 3 of them were extraordinary Vaishnavas: Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Anupam. And then Anupam's son is Jiva Goswami. So extremely elevated family lineage there. And so they lived in different Chandradweep, and then Fatahabad, and then moved to Ramkeli. So Ramkeli is where they spent most of their time. Now, one time the king, the Hussein Shah, the king of Goda, he had a guru, and the guru was an astrologer, which was common, and he asked him, "Is my kingdom going to be prosperous?" And he told him, "Well, there's these boys, these young men, and if you can employ them in your service, then you're guaranteed that you will have a prosperous kingdom." And these boys, they're extremely brilliant. They're very, very intelligent. They know all different languages, and besides Bengali and Hindi and Persian and Sanskrit, they're very, so if you can employ them. So he did, and then they were so expert, he made Sanatan Goswami his prime minister, and they gave them title, and Sakar Malik is an honorary title, so they were called that. And then Rupa Goswami also became like a secretary and an important minister to the king, and his name was Dabir Khas. So now what happened was Lord Chaitanya, he heard about these young men, and he came to Ramakeli. When he came, like on his way, I'm not sure where he came from, probably Vrindavan or Jagannath Puri or Bengal, not sure. But as he's going, he gathered a huge crowd. There were probably just a few men with him when he left, and then they just would see him singing and dancing the whole way around, and they would run and literally take the dust off the ground to have some of that dust and to keep some and smear it on their body. So there were holes all in the ground wherever he went. But eventually, because he was so extremely attractive, that more and more people followed him. And by the time he reached Ramakeli, there were thousands of people following him. So the king became a little nervous. He was afraid. He's thinking he must be like here for political opposition, because who would travel with that many people? So he called his minister, Dabir Khas, Rupa Goswami, and he assured him, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about him. Nothing. He's just a saintly person, and there's no harm will come to you." Eventually, after some time, Hussein Shah actually became very favorable to Rupa Goswami. So now Lord Chaitanya, he immediately started grooming these men, and he recognized them, recognized how great they were, of course, and who they were, and how they were. He even told them, "You are my eternal associates." And so then they couldn't conceal themselves, and eventually, they still were working for the government, and they felt quite bad about it, because this is Muslim meat eater king, and associating with them, although they were born in respectable Brahmin families, but they felt themselves highly contaminated by that association. And so now what happened was, one night they just snuck out in the middle of the night. They went to meet Lord Chaitanya. And first they met Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, who brought them to the Lord. And they would do this whenever they met Lord Chaitanya, actually put grass in their mouth. And they felt so humble, and they would wrap cloth around their necks as a sign of humility. And just when they would pay obeisances, they would just be crying and crying. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's quoted, they said, "We are millions of times more degraded, fallen, and sinful than Jagai and Madhai. We have taken a wicked birth. We have become the servants of Muslims, and our activities are exactly like those of the Muslims. We constantly associate with people who are inimical toward the cows and brahmanas. Due to our abominable activities, we are now bound by the neck and hands and have been thrown into a ditch with the excrement of evil sense enjoyment." So when the Lord saw this extreme humility of these two brothers, he became so much compassionate, and he said, I had no need to come here, but I only came here just to see both of you. That's why I came. And don't worry, you will be delivered very soon. So there's a whole story of how Rupa was able to quit the government service. They actually just quit, not very easily, we can imagine. So now the Lord, he wanted to teach the conditioned soul that we are delivered by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So he asked Nityananda, Haridas, Srivas, Gadadhar, Mukunda, Jagadananda, Murari, Vakreshwar, and others, that you bless these Rupa and Sanatan. Well, he gave them those names. He initiated them, so gave them the names Rupa and Sanatan. And then that's when Sanatan advised him. So sometimes even a junior can advise a senior. So he advised him, it's not a good idea. Now you're on your way to Vrindavan, and you shouldn't be going with hundreds and thousands of people, because if you're going on pilgrimage, that's not the way to go. And so Mahaprabhu, he didn't go to Vrindavan at that time. So now, at the meeting at Rama Keli, that Mahaprabhu wanted to teach the people of the world, and just by that association, the intense spirit of renunciation awakened in the two brothers, and that's when they gave up the government service. So now, then we know that about the wealth, how Rupa Goswami, he deposited 10,000 coins with a grocer on behalf of his brother, and he went to his family. He gave 25% to them, and he gave half to the Brahmins and Vaishnavas. And then what happened was that another story of how Sanatan got imprisoned when he wanted to give up the government service. So then when Rupa Goswami received news that Mahaprabhu had left for Vrindavan, they went there to also join him. And he told Sanatan how he can get out of prison. But Rupa went, when he arrived in Prayag, he learned that Mahaprabhu was there in Prayag. He had not yet gone to Vrindavan. And there he was so much overwhelmed with loving feelings for the Lord. And again, they put the straw between their teeth. And then Mahaprabhu recited verses. He's saying, Krishna's mercy is beyond description, for he has delivered you from the blind well of sensual existence. Because, you know, being minister to the king, you have access to all kinds of wealth, and you know, you have lots and lots of facility. So so he embraced them and he put his feet on their head, and that's when the two brothers, they folded their hands and they prayed, Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaur Trise Namaha. And so then later, we know that this is when Lord Chaitanya, he was so very, very pleased with them. And this is when he spent 10 days in Prayag, remaining incognito so as not to draw a crowd. So for 10 days, he taught Rupa Goswami the truths about Krishna, devotion to him, and transcendental divine mellows, as well as all other devotional conclusions. So now we see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did not write any books. He only spoke Shikshashtakam, not really all at the same time, like a book, at different times, and then later they were compiled into a 8-stanza, you could say, prayer. But he gave the foundation for the Goswamis to write books, and this is what he ordered them to do, to write books. And so Rupa Goswami, being so brilliant, you know, in 10 days absorbed all of that from the Lord and was able to write it down. And so many books Rupa Goswami wrote, and most notably we have the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion. And there, everything is described about different mellows we hear in class often. We've been hearing the commentaries of the acharyas, how these different mellows and different emotions are being expressed by the residents of Vrindavan. So Rupa Goswami, hearing Lord Chaitanya and studying all the Bhakti Shastras, all the scriptures that speak about devotion to the Lord, he was able to filter it, able to, like we say, Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano. He was able to take out the essence of these scriptures and to present them to us. And he wrote so many books. He wrote Hansaduta, Uddhava, Sandesh, Krishna Janma Tita Vidi, Lagu, Radha Krishna Gonadesh Deepika, and then Brihat Radha Krishna Gonidesh Deepika, Stavamala, Vidagda Madhava, Lalita Madhava. Both of these, I believe Maharaj has recorded, both Lalita Madhava and Vidagda Madhava. So those, you can hear them, Maharaj has recorded them. And Danakeli Kaumudi, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhi, Ujjvala Nilamani, Prayukat Hayata Chandrika, Mathura, Mahima, Pajavali, Nataka Chandrika, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Upadeshamrita, Namastaka, Siddhanta Ratna, and Kavya Kaustuba. That's some of the books he wrote. So amazing, amazing books, like for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, you know, describing the essence of the teachings. And this is how the Lord had explained them to him. And then later on, the Lord met Srila Sanatana Goswami for 2 months and instructed him. And it also instructed them. He told Rupa, I want you to write these books. I want you to excavate the pastime places of Krishna and in Vrindavan and something else. So now what happened was, and establish deity worship. So when he's in Vrindavan, we hear how it was quite an ordeal to actually find the pastime places of the Lord. And so they did this, the Goswamis, and because in course of time, like Krishna's, even his pastimes, they had been lost, and so the Lord, it said, he drenched Rupa and Sanatan with his mercy, so gave them the mercy so that they could disseminate these teachings and the pastime places and all. Now, the thing is, he's there, okay, I'm supposed to establish deity worship, but I don't even have a deity. And what happened was, he was like just meditating, going all over Vrindavan, looking for a deity whom he could worship. And as he's searching, he was sitting, contemplating, like feeling rather discouraged a little that I can't find the deity. And so he was just sitting and thinking about it. And then this beautiful young boy came and said, "My dear sadhu, you look so sad. Why are you sad?" And he told them, "Well, I'm looking for Krishna, for a deity of Krishna." And he said, "Oh, don't be sad any longer. I know where you can find a deity." So he said, on the hill over here, and every day a cow comes, a big cow. She comes every morning and she pours profuse quantities of milk right on the top of the hill. So there must be a deity under that, in that hill. And so, because she's offering her milk to the deity. So he's like, really? So he gathered some men to help dig up, but they didn't have to dig deeply at all. As soon as they started digging, there was the deity. And so this deity is the Govinda deity. And he got this beautiful deity, and then that's when the big temple was built, right? That was Sanatana Goswami's big temple, wasn't it? The Madan Mohan, but he also he had a big temple was built, but then the Muslim, that was Madan Mohan too, right? The Akbar helped. Okay, and Akbar built a temple for this deity. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. And so, okay, so, after, so the Akbar helped to pay for build the temple, but then from Agra, he could see the top of the temple. Who was that? Aranzar. So the grandson of Akbar. So he wanted to have it, he didn't want to have to see that building bigger than his, so he had it knocked, the top of it. It was 7 stories originally, and then they knocked down like 3, and then they thought we should move the deities because it may even be, they may come again. And so the deities were moved, they were hidden, then they were moved to Jaipur, where they remain to this day, and are very they're worshipped very nicely, and I hear that many pilgrims go every day from Mangal Arati. The streets are filled, right? You've been there? Uh-huh. I've never been there. To be successful. Wow. Oh, so Maharaj he's been many times there to Jaipur, and the whole city, they come from Mangalartik, and the temple is in the, oh, the greeting, but many others come for Mangalartik, and the businessmen go for darshan, for the blessings to be successful, and but all chanting Govinda, 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 like that. Oh, Radha Golokananda came from Jaipur because they have big sculpting going on there, right? Deity sculpting, capital, you can say. Thousands? Really? Thousands of deity stores selling so many deities. Right, so that's idol worship, right? The politicians. Uh-huh. All right, um, so that was very wonderful that he had the deity there. Now, let me see here. All right, now he when he started to write his dramas too, and also when he Lord Chaitanya at Rath Yatra, he was there at Rath Yatra at Jagannath Puri, and he saw that Lord Chaitanya, he heard him saying this song, like he was in so much ecstasy, having darshan of the deities, that he was reciting this song, but this song, it was a mundane song. It was like a love song. It was about a couple who were madly in love, and they used to meet before they were married. They would meet together, and for romance, and they were, they were not married yet, so it was like illicit, and it was very exciting. Then they got married. That often happens if people are madly in love. It always happens if you're madly in love after some time, just the day-to-day, just the grind of living. Then they're there. What happened? We used to be so much in love, and we used to go, and the breezes and the flowers, and now look, we're just like, same old, same old. So he was saying this song, but it's a mundane song. But of course, Swarup Damodar could understand his mind, and so could Rupa Goswami. So then Rupa Goswami, he wrote, he understood the inner feelings of Lord Chaitanya. Like even if we hear a song, we try to transpose it, like it's Radha and Krishna. They're the supreme, couple. And so we would try to think that it's really about Krishna, because everything is coming from Krishna. So now he compiled a verse, a very nice verse, expressing those feelings. He wrote it, and he put it in the thatched roof of Haridas. Now, this is now Rupa Goswami has gone to Jagannath Puri, and he feeling, I'm so contaminated because I serve the Muslims. I'm like a Muslim. I can't go in the temple because the Muslims are not allowed in the temple. So he himself went and stayed with Haridas Thakur. And so he just put his poem or verse there in the roof, and then he went to bathe. They bathe every day in the ocean at Jagannath Puri. And while he was gone, Lord Chaitanya happened to come there, and he just came. He used to come every day to visit Haridas Thakur, and he would bring him Mahaprasadam. So although he didn't go see the Lord came to see him every day. And so Mahaprabhu found that note, and I'll just read the English, and it says, "O companion, this is the same beloved Krishna meeting me here in Kurukshetra, and I am the same Radha, and both of us are feeling the joy of union. Even so, my mind wishes for the forest by the banks of the Yamuna, where the fifth note of his flute reverberated sweetly within my heart." So when Lord Chaitanya saw that, see, because we know when the residents of Vrindavan, they went to Kurukshetra for the eclipse, solar eclipse, and there they see Krishna for the first time, all in his royal garb and his crown, and surrounded by ministers and servants, and they were like this, and it's all, lots and lots of kings were there, and all these tents were set up, and they're like, we want to see you back in Vrindavan. You're the same person, we know, but it's not the same. You have to come back to Vrindavan, where we can experience the heightened, loving relationships. And so when Lord Chaitanya saw that, he when Rupa Goswami came back from his bath in the ocean, Lord Chaitanya slapped him, with affection. Sometimes we slap someone affectionately. And he said, "How did you know what was in my mind?" And then he embraced Rupa Goswami tightly. And the Lord took the verse and he showed it to Swarup Damodar. And because Swarup Damodar was his, you could say, proofreader of not grammar, but content. So anything anyone wanted to submit to Lord Chaitanya, if they wrote a song or a prayer or verse, he said, first Swarup Damodar can read it and see if it's eligible, if it has the all of the content is in line. It's not rasa bas, it's pure rasa. So Lord Chaitanya gave it to Swarup Damodar, and then he said, "How was Rupa able to know my mind?" And Swarup Damodar answered, "I believe it must be the result of your special benediction." So then, one day, Rupa was writing. He wrote these plays, Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. He was writing, and Mahaprabhu unexpectedly arrived, and he saw his beautiful handwriting. And so he said, it is just like a string of pearls. And then he had, that's when he saw that he had written this prayer, and he read the verse that he composed. And I'll read the English. "I do not know how much nectar the two syllables of Krishna's name have been composed, dancing madly on my tongue. They awaken in me the desire to possess many mouths. As they sprout in my ears, I long for millions of ears. And as they enter into the garden of my heart, they overcome the activities of every one of my senses, leaving me inert." Now, all the devotees were amazed to hear that verse. Haridas Thakur, he's the Nam Acharya of the Acharya of the holy name, and he was so amazed. And he said, "I've heard the glories of the holy name from many scriptures and sadhus, but never a description of like this of the sweetness of the name." And then many other devotees, they said the same thing. They never heard, although they were accustomed to always hearing the glories of the holy name like that. So now, when he was writing his play, he was writing a play of Krishna's pastimes combined together, and then Satyabhama appeared to him, like there was something to do with, yeah, Satyabhama Pura. So that's the city of Satyabhama, isn't it? And so she appeared to him, and she said, "I want you to write a separate play, about me and Dwarka Leela, the queens of Dwarka." And since he was combining it, and then when he went, as soon as he met Lord Chaitanya after that, Lord Chaitanya said, never take Krishna out of Vrindavan. He never leaves Vrindavan. So he thought, wow, that's double confirmation. I have to write 2 separate dramas, one about Vrindavan and one about Dwarka. And so he did that. And then the second verse of the Lord Chaitanya said, read us. He saw him writing, and he said, read us something from the Vidagdha Madhava. And he said, he was quite shy. He didn't want to. And he said, go ahead, read. So Lord Chaitanya was not expecting this. He said, may the Supreme, this is his second verse of the second chapter, may the Supreme Lord, who is the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, be always situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow that which was never offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the treasure of devotion to him. So Lord Chaitanya said, oh, your praises are overdone. This is an exaggeration. But all the devotees were like, no, it's all true. And they were overcome with ecstatic love upon hearing that verse. And then and then Ramananda Roy, he said to the Lord, I wish I had 1,000 tongues to glorify Rupa's poetic ability. This is not poetry. It is a fountain of ambrosia. It is the essence of all ultimate realizations appearing in the form of plays. His description of transcendental love affairs is truly wonderful. My ears and mind are spinning with delight upon hearing them. And then was it Rupa Goswami who said, what is the use of poetry if it does not make one's mind spin, something like that. And so, all right, from Puri, Lord Chaitanya, and we know these 2 brothers, they have no fixed residence. They stay under a different tree every night. So why a different tree? Not just to exhibit renunciation, but you see these trees, the Rasa Stala, like the place where the Rasa dance, those who have been to Vrindavan see that, and now it's just a small like little park, right? But it used to be a whole big area. There were no temples there, and it was open like forest and all. That was the Rasa Stala. So they know like where the pastimes occurred of the Lord, so they would stay under a different tree and meditate on that, on the particular pastime that occurred there and all. So they were engaged in bhajan almost 24 hours a day, just a little bit of sleep, maybe, not always, like 1.5 hours of sleep and hardly eating, just always, writing books and then speaking, talking together about the Lord. This is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Raghunath Das Goswami, he stayed for 16 years under the tutelage of Swarup Damodar. So then Swarup Damodar left this world right around, very close to Mahaprabhu leaving. And so Raghunath Das was so much like feeling separation that he said, I'm just going to leave too. I'm going to go to Vrindavan and commit suicide. I'm going to jump off Govardhan Hill, the top of Govardhan Hill, jump to the ground and kill myself. And then when he got there, Rupa and Sanatan said, no way, you cannot kill yourself. The Lord has given you service. You can't do that. And they forbade him, and they adopted him as a 3rd brother, and they constantly kept him by their side. And so again, we are so much grateful to Rupa Goswami for giving us the knowledge in the nectar of devotion and everything. like that. So we we pray for the dust of his lotus feet, Jai. And Gauri Das Pandit, you know that his brother is Surya Das. Surya is the father of Janava Devi and Vasudha. So Gauri Das Pandit is the uncle of by marriage, he's the uncle of Lord Nityananda, but he's the uncle of Nityananda's wives through blood. And he had deities made of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and they used to dance and run off the altar. Yeah, they would go off the altar and dance. So all glories to Sri Rupa Goswami, we'll remember him, and Gauri Das Pandit. Oh, Jai Shri Shri Radha Golokananda.
Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Marhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Gili Govardhan Kalini Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Keshigata Vamshivada Dvanashakagna Yakasama Lila Koela Shinanda Nanda She Nanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopaka Shinamare Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsanga Jaya Vrishapanu Jaya Kirtida Sunare Jaya Purna Masi Jaya Vira Nagare Jaya Jaya Gopi Shara Vrindavan Maja Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Bhaktu Dvijadra Jaya Ramagata Jaya Rohini Nanda Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vatsijata Jaya Jaya Dvija Padni Jaya Nagakanya Ganga Bhakti Teja Hayakvaila Govinda Charan Shri Rasa Mandala Jai Ho Jai Radha Shyam Jaya Jaya Rasalila Saramanoram Jaya Jaya Jala Rasa Sarva Rasa Parakiya Bhaveja Brajate Pracha Shri Janava Pada Padma Korea Smarana Dina Krishna Dasako Nama Sankirtan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan You run, I'm looking on a run, I'm looking on a day. I'm looking on a run, I'm looking on a day. Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace. Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Frida Thakur Ki Jai. Friends say Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadha Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sai Kund Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Ki Jai Maturam Ki Jai Jagadav Sami Ki Jai Manamai Ki Jai Srimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the Okay, the translation. All glories to Radha Krishna in the divine forest of Vrindavan. All glories to the three presiding deities of Vrindavan, Sri Govinda, Gopinath, and Madan Mohan. All glories to Shamakun, Radhakun, Govardhan Hill, and the Yamuna River Kalindi. All glories to the great forest known as Mahavan. All glories to Keshigat, the Vamsiva tree, and the 12 forests of Braj. At these places, the son of Nanda, Sri Krishna, performed all of his pastimes. All glories to Krishna's divine father and mother, Nanda and Yashoda. All glories to the cowherd boys headed by Sridham. All glories to the cows and calves of Braja. All glories to Radha's divine father and mother, Vrishabhanu, and the beautiful Kirtida. All glories to Purnamasi, the mother of Sandipani Muni. All glories to the young cowherd maidens of Braja. All glories to Gopishwara Shiva, who resides in Vrindavan in order to protect the holy Dham. All glories to Krishna's funny Brahmin friend, Madhumango. All glories to Ramagat, where Lord Balaram performed the Rasa dance. All glories to Lord Balaram, the son of Rohini. All glories to all the residents of Vrindavana. All glories to the wives of the proud Vedic Brahmanas. All glories to the wives of the Kaliya serpent. Through pure devotion, they all obtain the lotus feet of Lord Govinda. All glories to the place where the Rasa dance of Sri Krishna was performed. All glories to Radha and Shama. All glories to the divine Rasa dance, which is the most beautiful of all Lord Krishna's pastimes. All glories to the mel of conjugal love, which is the most excellent of all rasas and is propagated in Braja by Sri Krishna in the form of the divine Patakiya Bhav. Remembering the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda's consort, Sri Janava Devi, this very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna sings the Sankirtan of the holy name, Jai. So Shikshaskat. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahad Vagni Nirapanam Shreya Kairavi Chandrika Vitaranam